All right, I'm going to get started. I wasn't planning on doing this. I had a long day today, but I'm going to knock out a few minutes just to clear a few things up. Um, it's one person in particular that's running from this, despite the fact that I told them when they made their very first comment that I wasn't talking to them. They wanted to try to push a point that the WWE isn't a racist, anti-black organization, but then they bring up the fact that wrestling overall is an anti-black, white supremacist organization. And he tried to tell me that I should be satisfied with the crumbs of success, some that is few and far in between. And apparently, this dude is from Alabama, so he's used to having to, go by a certain code. I've been through Alabama, and there are some people that's not going to tolerate that shit, and there's some people that just flat out are buck broken. This person has gotten very sassy with me, so just you know, comes into question, and I don't condemn those type of people. I don't condemn those type of people. I don't condone their actions, especially from Black Americans. But that's neither here nor there right now. Let me damn, I had it up. I had it up. So it started with me minding my own business, reading through the news and shit, and reading through my timeline, seeing certain things, saying good morning to certain people, and um, just doing my daily do. And damn, I had it and I lost it again. Minding my own damn business. And Wrestle Pursuits put up, I think that they're, and this was a quote from Shelton Benjamin, and it was from Metro Times or something like that. I think that there was no hurt business versus bloodline war is one of the biggest mishaps in pro wrestling. And again, this was quoted from Shelton Benjamin. Okay, that's how the man felt. This was his opinion. I said that it's obvious that the WWE values Samoans over Black Americans, which obviously it do. I mean, you got all of these Samoans coming out of the woodwork just because they're family or whatnot. That's an excuse to undermine Black Americans who built this country, fought, bled, and died to maintain this country. A lot of people stayed in Alabama, still trying to build something for themselves, and it was torn down. That's why I'm surprised. Like, if this dude claimed he's from Alabama, uh, claim he's a Black American, claim he's a foundational Black American, I don't understand why he's coning so hard. I didn't say anything wrong. I've only said something truthful, but I'll get into the rest of that in a minute because it's a certain point that it's a particular point that I want to bring out uh, in this instance. Y'all have to excuse me. I'm just getting home. I just wanted to knock this out the way because there is a misconception when I talk about the amount of Samoans compared to the amount of Black Americans. I should have made it clear, but in what I meant. But I'll get to that in a second. We haven't even gotten to that yet. Um, Trying to find something because you had a few people trying to tell me this, that, and the other. Oh wow, I don't know how I got into all of this. Hold on one second. Somehow all this shit is lost. Hold on, let me see. I'm gonna try a different route. This person, by the way, is Therese Harris, chef underscore Trez 13. Come off as a Black American, but then you scroll through his shit and you tend to notice that he's anti-black. All right, here we go, right here. All right. So later, oh, that's how, because it got drifted off into all these other comments and shit. So this is the main comment to where he come into play. Uh, I said that, like I said, the original comment was it's obvious that WWE values Samoans over Black Americans. And I said, well, it's evidenced by the amount of Samoans on the main roster compared to the Black Americans. And that's where it got, see, on Twitter, and, you have to be very, very, very specific. And it's not hard for me to be specific. Oh, here this cat go right here. I'll continue that in a second. Let me get this guy a mic right quick. Come on up here. It's not hard. I mean, it's not hard for me to be specific, but it's still hard for certain people to understand when I say foundational Black American. I'm not talking about no black person, no dark skinned person from the Caribbeans. I'm not talking about no dark skinned people from Africa. I'm not talking about no dark skinned people from the Middle East. I'm not talking about no dark skinned people from Asia. I'm speaking specifically foundational Black Americans, people who lineage leads back to slavery. We've been on this land for centuries. And like I said, when you bring in those Samoans, when you bring in those Mexicans, when you bring in these Japanese, when you bring in more whites, you make it to where all lives matter. And the ones that's getting left out in the dust is Black Americans specifically. You could throw out the success of Bianca Belair, which I'm not doubting that. Bianca Belair, through her work and her will and her hard work and her drive and dedication to professional wrestling, the WWE have rewarded her well as a result of her hard work. She's had very successful women's championship reigns, lengthy women's championship reigns, and beyond the women's championship, she's had great feuds with women, different women, over the last few years. They have done well with her, and I'm happy for her. You know, you throw out the success of the Street Profits, which was a few years ago. I mean, they really haven't done shit with the Street Profits. When was the last time, besides WrestleMania and besides the Royal Rumble, when was the last time Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins wrestled on pay-per-view? You know, the WWE got it to where you got 5 matches in a 3-hour block on these pay-per-views. And the only black women that they could feature, the only black people that they could feature is the black women. The Jamaican, Jade Cargill, the foundational Black American woman, Bianca Belair, and the foundational Black woman, American woman, Naomi. And I'm happy for them. I'm happy that uh, Naomi was in the Money in the Bank. And I thought that she did well. A lot of white folk went on another racist tangent on Naomi this week because they didn't like her performance at Money in the Bank. If someone make a botch or if someone does something that you don't like, they give them whatever little heat that they give, but they don't make it racial. But when it comes down to black women, black men, it's always some racial connotations in these people comments. But let me get back on point. Those are the 3 black people that they feature on these 5 match pay-per-views, which Jade and Bianca wasn't a part of Money in the Bank. I don't believe. I had to double check that, but I don't think they had a match or it was featured on that pay-per-view, which obviously was going to happen eventually. So look at the last few pay-per-views. Besides, once again, WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble. When was the last time Montez Ford and uh, Angelo Dawkins was featured on the pay-per-view? Now, going back to this, somebody brought up a list of black wrestlers. You got, and I'm looking at the black Americans on this list. You got Bianca Belair, you got Angelo Dawkins, you got Montez Ford. Carmelo Hayes is in question. I'm still trying to figure out, is he mixed with Puerto Rican or some shit like that? But, we're going to hold that to the side for a minute. When was the last time Cedric Alexander was on pay-per-view? When was the last time B-Fab wrestled on pay-per-view? When was the last time MVP and Ashanti? When was the last time they wrestled on pay-per-view? Those were the only black Americans that were listed. I was very specific when I said black Americans. And that's when I'm going to move on to delineation. Like I said, an African, like, take Omos, and I'm an Omos fan. I believe if he got his head in the game and the WWE present him correctly, he can be a world champion. But let's take, Omos. I think he's Nigerian. I don't, Nigerians don't fuck with black Americans. They don't. They look at us, Akata, and you niggas and all this other different shit. Like, they got a real problem with us. I don't understand why. There's, a few Africans, in a certain region to where in my state. And I've been up there and they don't necessarily fuck with us. I've conversated with a few of them and they just don't fuck with us. Just do a lot of hating. So how could I look at almost success and attribute that to me? Because there's no connection. He's representing Nigeria. He's doing Nigeria proud. And I'm happy for him in Nigeria, but he's not a black American. Same thing with Big E, who's a Jamaican. He's representing Jamaica. Same thing with Bobby Lashley, who's a Hispanic. Don't let that dark skin fool you. The man is a Hispanic. He's Panamanian. Like I asked this cat earlier, how do you identify with Samoans to the point to where you feel like they can represent you as a person? How you feel like they represent your culture? Do you dress like Samoans? Do you dress like Nigerians? Do you dress like Jamaicans? Do you eat their foods? Do you listen to their music? Do you fuck their women? Well, I guess that's not, don't have nothing to do with their culture. But, like, how do you identify with these people? I'm pretty sure it's not a lot of Nigerians, hanging with you down in Alabama. I'm pretty sure it's not a lot of Samoans, coming down there fucking having a luau and shit with your ass in Alabama. How do these people actually represent you as a foundational black American if that's what you are? A Southern black man. On top of that, how does Samoans and Brazilians, dark Brazilians, represent you? A motherfucker had goddamn Mia Yim, I think that's her name. Some goddamn Asian bitch talking about, oh, her father black, so she black. Like, what the fuck type shit is that? This bitch got, and then America got an anti-hate crime bill for Asians specifically. That's one of the very first things Joe Biden put on the table. As soon as he got there, bam. If you attack an Asian or if you say something wrong against an Asian, you got a federal hate crime against your ass. And they only applying that to black people. As anti-Asian as white folk are, they don't seem to get these hate crimes. But you go to a beauty supply store or a Chinese restaurant or whatever little bodegas or whatever fucking Asian people own, and these motherfuckers Asians got some smart ass fucking mouths, and they will tempt your ass to whoop them. And the second that you do, you got whatever assault charge, and you got a hate crime tax on you. Joe Biden put that on them to protect them, but black Americans still don't have no real concrete legislative protection for hate crimes committed against us. But anyway, so if this Mia Yim is black, I guarantee you, if a black man was to say something against her, I bet you she'll get Asian really quickly. There is no dual alliances. I don't know nobody that can honestly represent black and white in sincerity. Because if the war do break off, which side is you gonna be on? By nature, the whites are deceitful people. It's in the Bible. They are the original serpent. By nature, they are the most deceitful people. Therefore, half white or devil. Stop throwing y'all people on us. If black people got to take accountability for mixed people, then white folk got to take accountability for them too. And if they won't do that, then you can keep your mixed people. You can keep your Mercedes Monet, who is black father ran off on her. So she was raised by her single white mother. She's a white woman. Don't sit up here and try to tell me she's a black woman when she's clearly a white woman. She didn't even marry a black American man. She's a white woman. That's what she chooses to live her life as. That's what she is. I don't have nothing against the bitch, but she's not a black American woman. When you got, and on top of that, like I said, my comments about the Samoans was misinterpreted about the number of Samoans. I'm not saying it is more Samoans than black people, but it's more Samoans that's being utilized than black American people. I mean, like I said, these in prominent positions. On top of that, there is no black American man in the world title picture, and it hasn't been a black American man in the world title picture in years. When you take Lashley, oh, you know what? What since Mark Henry, Kofi Kingston is from Ghana. Ghanaian people don't represent me. I love Kofi Kingston. He's one of my favorite all times. But he doesn't represent foundational black Americans. I can't take his success and accredit it towards us. The WWE only had two foundational black American world champions, and that was Booker T and Mark Henry. That was it. The Rock is a Samoan. When Trayvon Martin got killed, I didn't see him say, hey, hoodie on, none of that shit. I ain't see him say none of that shit. When George Floyd got choked out, I ain't see him. Ahmaud Arbery got killed. I ain't see him say shit. Fires running through Hawaii. Oh, come on, let's get together. And he got with Oprah. Like, what the fuck? He got with Oprah to fucking goddamn do all these goddamn drives and shit. I don't see him do anything, toward black people. Nor is he obligated to. So I'm not mad at him for that. You want to be Samoan? That's what you are. But stop trying to tell me that he was the first ever black American World Wrestling Federation Championship. He don't even like his father. They wasn't talking before he died. But that's between them. And ain't nothing for me to speculate. Rest in peace, Rocky Johnson. But I'm very specific. I love Jade Cargill, but she's a Jamaican and she's a proud Jamaican. Go on her shit. Type in Jamaica. Type in Jamaican. And she'll let you know how proud she is of Jamaica. She's a proud Jamaican. Apollo Crews, Nigerian. Odyssey Jones. Apparently he's a black American, but where the fuck is he at? B-Fab. She's a black American. Where the fuck is she at? I don't know why they got Nia Jax on here. This list is Xavier Woods. They sparingly use him. And he got the least success out of the New Day. The Jamaican and the Ghanaian have the most success out of the New Day. Individual success out of the New Day. The Black American is at the very bottom. That's a problem with me. We are in America. We built America so that these Caribbeans and Africans can come here and enjoy the fruits of our labor. But a lot of times, we as a people can't enjoy the fruits of our labor. I really want Tess to come up here because, there's certain things I want to ask you. And it was one thing in particular that I wanted to talk to you about because let me find it right quick. You had recently said something about something in Alabama, which, like I said, I got a lot of family in Alabama. The Davis family, if you familiar with them, a lot of them are school teachers. My cousin was actually a city councilman in yeah, I think he was a city councilman. He was something along those lines in Montgomery. He passed away though. He was a lot older, but this was like in the 80s and the 90s and shit. But I got a lot of family down in Birmingham, Montgomery, and Mobile. And I used to go down there a lot when I was younger. I think the last time I've been down there was like 20, but I still keep up with a lot of my cousins down there. And, they real cool people. And when I went down there, one thing that I got down there was a lot of love from my people, even just walking the streets. I heard how Alabama could get. I heard how a lot of person in Alabama could get, but hey, that's worldwide. And that's why you feel like a lot of us are our own worst enemy. I caught that too. And to a certain extent, I could agree to you, but it's always a route to where everything is. That's, like I said, we were a project. But I'm looking for something in particular that you said that caught me because, everybody keep bringing this out. Okay, you said, I'm still here, pussy. You don't know what you're talking about. Born and raised in Birmingham, the heart of the civil rights movement. That part right there, the heart of the civil rights movement. I want to start with that. The heart of the civil rights movement. One of the main things that got, people to take notice of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. out of Atlanta, Georgia, was the Montgomery bus boycott. Martin Luther King gathered people to boycott a bus system instead of gathering people to come together to figure out a way to create their own bus system. Now, when you catch the bus, who you paying? White supremacists, right? So I don't necessarily agree with that. But hey, whatever. You know, black people had to walk for a whole fucking year. They had to, get tickets when they was doing boycotting, going to jail when they was, when they was what you call that when you oh, why my mind slip right quick when you carpooling, going to jail when they getting arrested when they trying to carpool people, people bombing cars and shit. They went through hell throughout that, and it still took for them a year to try to conform up to what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wanted, which wasn't just for them to ride anywhere they wanted to on the bus. It was also for workers to be actual black people to actually be bus drivers and to make fair wages. And I think they agreed on everything but the fair wages. And Martin Luther King settled for that. And the very next week they bombed the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. house. They don't talk about that. But the civil rights thing in particular, you want to feel American. You want to feel like you're a part of America and all of this other different shit. And you feel like white folk view you right here in 2024. This is what I got from you. That's why, like I said, I prefer to talk to you. But this is what I got from you. And I could be wrong. Correct me if I am. But you feel as equal in America to the whites. You feel like you're protected under the Constitution, and you got some extra protection under that Civil Rights Act, didn't you? But my question is this: why should we need civil rights in the first place? Because if we are American citizens, then we shouldn't need civil rights. If we are American citizens, then we should be protected under the Constitution. If we were American citizens, we should be protected under the Bill of Rights. If the Emancipation Proclamation was authentic, then we shouldn't have any problems that Black Americans faced after slavery. I don't attribute slavery to racism. That was free and cheap labor. But what happened after slavery, how white folk were after slavery, in particular in Alabama, where a lot of my roots are in, white folk became racist. White folk became hateful. White folk denied us of a lot of things, which WWE is doing today. They're denying us. Oh, I am going to get on that position of power thing too. But let me get back on this civil rights thing. Why should we need civil rights if we are American citizens? Instead of us fighting for civil rights, we should have been fighting for human rights because white folk do not view us as human beings. If we conform to the way that they want us to act, then I guess we could be accepted in their society. If they need a certain thing done from you, sure, they'll be fucking nice. If you can entertain them, they'll pay you top dollar. Hell, they love Michael Jackson as if he was a white man himself. Let them tell it. They love a nigger that can entertain. They love Swerve Strickland. He can fucking entertain them. Swerve Strickland don't even love black women. I think that's what they love about him the most. White folk have historically been infatuated with black American, excuse me, with black penis and vagina. They'll fuck us, but internally, it's a certain respect that they won't have. And that's the fact that we are still less than human to them. Now, do all white folk feel that way? I don't believe so. To ease your mind, in case you think that I'm a racist, I'm not. First of all, I have two white acquaintances. Luka Doncic is currently my favorite NBA player. Stone Cold Steve Austin was one of my favorite wrestlers of all times. And Chris Benoit is my favorite wrestler, my number one favorite wrestler of all time. I respect these people for the entertainers and the people that they are. So I'm not a racist, but I do call things for the way that they are. And there is an issue in professional wrestling, which is the system of white supremacy and anti-blackness. Let me go back to the civil rights thing. Show you how conniving white folk are. Just to show you how conniving white folk are. The Civil Rights Act was created specifically for us. We were the ones suffering in America, when we did build our own towns and build our own, we had our own schools and we couldn't go to school with these people, right? So when we integrated with them, it's funny how our educational rates went down. It's funny when we integrated with them, we had more ownership, and I'm pretty sure your people in Alabama can tell you this. Y'all probably still do own a little bit of land, but you probably had more than what you have now. But that land was stolen from you, or stripped from you, or swindled from you. I'm not saying that that's your history, but more than likely, if your roots are in Alabama, more than likely that happened. Talk to your people if you're not aware already. This is what they did, and it did have a lasting effect on us to this day. When you say black people are our own worst enemies, could be true. Then again, it could be something in underlining. You got to remember, the system of white supremacy and anti-blackness is an illness that black people have to overcome. It's an illness. It's a deep-rooted illness. So the Civil Rights Act was created for us, but the people who benefit from the Civil Rights Act the most are white women, Asians who weren't on American soil while we were fighting for these civil rights, Africans who weren't on this soil when we were fighting for civil rights, Caribbean people who weren't on this soil when we were fighting for civil rights. Mexicans were here, Hispanic people were here, but they benefit from civil rights more than black Americans do, who it was actually created for. You didn't see Mexicans marching with the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., did you? You didn't see Africans marching with him, did you? Did you see any Caribbean people marching with the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King? Did you see any of these activists? Did you see any of these, anybody marching with Medgar Evers? Or did you see any Africans in the NOA, NOI or something? Did you see any of this? You know, all this dual alliances and shit. You know, the only people that were really marching with us were Jewish folk. What happened there was once the Civil Rights Act passed, Jewish folk just left us all the way in the dust. They threw us away. They got more control in America. Oh, they got their reparations too, something that's old and due to us. I wonder if you believe that, America owe us reparations or not, while you so much in love with these folk. But the Civil Rights Act benefited all of these people who came to America. Mind you, these people started migrating to America after the Civil Rights Act was created, was signed. They're the ones who benefited from it, and we don't. That's why I tell you, don't all lives matter me. Don't all lives matter me. Because at the end of the day, they tell us that we 13% of this country. They tell us that we 13% in this country. So when you throw all lives in, get your little speckle over here, get your little speckle over there, get your little speckle over there, we are lost. We for one are further separated from each other. We are further separated from each other. And in essence, when we looking for each other, we are lost. So try to conform with Ching Chong over there. Try to conform with Felipe over there, or go try to conform with fucking Bill. See how much they gonna be for your lonely ass. Start pulling for your people and don't shy away from them, because at the end of the day, we all we got. You from Alabama, it's almost goddamn. It's almost a year from Black August, the Montgomery Brawl. The way that those brothers and sisters came together collectively, that's how it should be. Don't draw away because you don't like how I feel about white folk. The Negro Black Knights Heritage Club, what's up? If you want to comment on anything, you're more than welcome. If not, enjoy it. Well, I'm don't have too much time. Like I said, I'm just getting home after a long day. I just wanted to clear a couple of things up. I don't believe that I know you either. But just finishing up on this. So there's, civil rights in which we shouldn't even need or whatever. It still don't protect us. Just like affirmative action. None of that shit, benefited us specifically. So going back to the WWE, when you look at all of these other black people's successes, and like I said, you go to their country, the only thing they gonna want out of you is your money. That's it. They not gonna want true fellowship. I've been to Jamaica. Everybody cool when we at the beach and shit, but it wasn't no, hey, come on back to the house and none of this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's none of that. And it's fine. Be cordial. Be cordial with whites. Hey, how you doing? All right, cool. But when it's time to go, it's time to go. Go home. Go home alone. I'm dead serious, especially with white folk. Because white folks stink, and I don't want them motherfuckers up in my goddamn house and shit. For real. I don't want them around my children. I don't want them around my family. I don't want them around my bathroom. That's sanctuary. So and another thing too, I'm not wrong for wanting that. Like I said, I don't have an issue with any other ethnicity. Like I said, at the end of the day, I'm a wrestling fan. And at the end of the day, if you putting on, great matches, I'm a fan. If you got something good going on, if you got a good character going on, I'm happy. I'm cool with that. I enjoy it. But I'm 35 years old, and I've been watching wrestling for maybe 25 years, 20, 25 to 30 years. It's still no equality on my television set when I look at professional wrestling. So my hero had to be Hulk Hogan. And then Hulk Hogan turned out to be a fucking racist. Hulk Hogan turned out to not give a fuck about me. That NWO, 3 NWO shirts I bought, two NWO shirts and one Hollywood shirt I bought, went to him, but he can't give nothing back to my sister who want to promote his brand. That's the situation he got going on right now. He don't want no nigger fucking his daughter. This is his words. Unless, unless he's 8 foot tall and worth for $50 million. Oh, have all the babies that you want. These is his words. These are his words. But I'm supposed to love and respect this man. Now, John Cena about to retire. He's 47. He old as fuck. He look pale as fuck. He look old as shit. He look like, honestly, I think he about to retire because I think he's sick. Ain't no way in hell he looked like that in 10 years. But I watched his entire career. I seen his very first match against Kurt Angle. And I watched him announce his retirement the other day. I got a respect for John Cena. He's one of the best ever in the WWE, in my opinion. But what if I come to find out when he's 60, 70, don't give a fuck about shit no more? Come to find out he was racist the entire time. I have to deal with that. My children got to deal with that. We had a love for this man. Come to find out he hate us and don't give a fuck about us. White folk not gonna openly call you a nigger. White folk isn't gonna openly demean you. to the people. They're not going to do that. White folk shit is more power based now, and they're protected under a power to where they wouldn't have to be racist towards you. Damage is already being done, and they're protected. So, if I find out that these people racist, now my kids is idolizing these people, why not just cut it from the gate? Expand the black Americans. If you got a roster of 100 people, 45 to 50 of them should be black Americans. We're American citizens just like anybody else. And I'm not wrong for wanting that after 100 years of professional wrestling. You got tons of black American wrestlers that's sitting on the sidelines, working their asses off, grinding, and you're not doing anything with them. Or you don't go out of your way to go get them. Like AEW go out of their way to go get these Will Ospreys and Okadas and all these other different people and ethnicities. When you got black, and this is an American organization, when you got American citizens here in the same field and continue to get overlooked. That's a problem with me. And you can't paint me as a bad guy for seeing that as an issue. I don't want my children idols to be white for them to find out that they don't give a fuck about them in return as a human being. But no black Americans are being presented on the same wavelength as a John Cena. There's no black American that could come out right 15 years from now and say, hey, I'm retiring and get the same love and respect as John Cena because y'all don't present them in that way. The Negro Knights, what's up?
The system of white supremacy and the anti-blackness in the WWE and the AEW. This was some of the reasons why I stopped watching it, and the only time I got involved with wrestling like that is when they had the Booker T, that guy with the braids, and a couple other black folks, and those were my heroes when I watched coming up as a child. I and I liked the whole acting and stuff, but I knew that it was fake, and
Right.
I treated it as such. But I don't like them doing that at the expense of our people, especially people that are very talented. So
I'm
thank you
sorry,
for
doing what specifically?
I'm wrestling. This is wrestling.
You mean like how they are presented as wrestlers?
Well, the thing is that they had like Booker T. I liked him, the brother with the braids, who had that nice back kick, whatnot.
Yeah,
I like
Booker
that
T.
shit.
Hmm.
I don't
Now,
know if he was
I want
Black
to ask you
American.
this because you
I
said
don't
that you
know.
watched it.
Yeah, I don't know if he was Black American like that, but I just like that it was the
Oh
image
no,
of a
Booker
black
T.
man.
He from Houston. Yeah, he's a black American. If you're talking about Booker T, then he's definitely a black American.
Yeah, I didn't know at the moment or not because he had the long hair and stuff like he had
Yeah.
like a Rasta, but
Hmm.
I really did like him. Like I
He
liked him.
started wearing those dreads before it got popular in America. I'll say that. And so then he never cut it. But Booker T is one of the first. You know how a lot of black Americans is all of a sudden starting to get dressed now. Um, he's one of the first. So he started growing those back in I think 2000, 2001, and he just never cut it. But I know Booker T story and pretty much his lineage. He is. I can vouch that he's a Black American, but I can see how you might not get it off the look. I can see that. But I did want to ask you something
And
because you said that.
thank you for giving me grace on that.
Oh, no problem, no problem. I did want to ask you. I'm big on lineage, because, like I said, I don't have an issue with other Black people, but one, a lot of Black people around the world are not necessarily riders with us for one reason or another. I know that certain people come over here and get certain freedoms that they didn't have from wherever they came from, and they wonder what the hell we bitching about. They can never understand the pain that came behind that, and I can understand that. But damn, like when we explain it to you, y'all still act like y'all don't get it. So that's where the disconnect is with them. But I did want to ask you because you said that you were watching when you were younger, and the Black people that you seen wrestle were your heroes. Was that a natural instinct?
Yeah, that for me personally, yeah, I never really grabbed like I was the type of brother. If I play fighting games, I would want to have a black character or a character who was ambiguous that I felt that was black or that I could make into a black person. I very rarely played with white folks because I didn't because I was programming myself as if I was the character. I was
Right.
imagining that I was that, and I
Yeah.
wasn't getting the same satisfaction underneath watching the white character. So I'm just gonna
Right.
keep it a full stack with you, and that was some of the reason. And as I got older, I just became just bored with wrestling. Like
Right.
it
Right.
served its purpose. I felt like it served its purpose temporarily. Like it gives children masculinity.
Hmm.
Um, it gives boys like something to fight about and to
Yeah.
imitate. And that's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I
Right.
think that's a part of manhood and being a boy and coming up. And I think that's normal. What is
How old are
not
you, if you
normal?
don't mind me asking?
Yeah, well, you good. I'm 37. I'm 37.
Okay.
I'm a man of a certain age now. I'm getting up there.
I'm 35, man. Don't sit. I'm already dreading the day I turn 36 in a couple of weeks. So,
Well, happy born day, happy, and if I don't catch you again, happy born day, and many
appreciate it.
more.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So,
what were you saying?
but yeah, yeah. But my father at one time he was very very pro black, right?
Hmm.
And then he ended up divorcing my mom, and he cooned out before he kicked the can.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I wish him. I hope he ain't burning in hell or anything like that.
No,
But certain things,
I got it. I got something for that. How old was he when he passed?
he was in his 50s.
Let me
He
say.
died young. Yeah, he
Let me
died
say
young.
something on this. Let me say something on this end. I'm good. You bringing up certain points that I want to accentuate. I want to let you talk, but you bringing up certain points that I want to accentuate real quick because you said something that was interesting, and this is big in the Black community, and I think this is where white folk got the upper hand all the time. Because when you are between the ages of 0 and, let's say, 25, you don't necessarily give a fuck. I could sit up there and talk to my nephew all day long about this shit, and he don't give a fuck because he's haven't experienced it. He's far from experiencing a lot of things in physical form. You understand what I'm saying? So, and he go to school and he might have these little white friends over here that's, cool and all this other shit, and, might go to a, carnival place or whatever, and, white people cool. He don't see this shit. And so he don't understand. They don't understand. You understand what I'm saying? Then you get to 20, 25. You start going out to college, you start getting out into the real world, and then you start, interacting with a lot of different people, and then it's starting to be like, okay, wait a minute, okay. I'm starting to feel this. I said, this ain't right. This ain't right. This ain't right. Okay. Some people decide when they get in their 30s to get more active. Now I'm pro black. Now I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. This is how I need to be. Everybody got ideas. My views may be different from yours. This person's views may be different from ours. This, that, and the other. But it is what it is. Everybody want to try to figure out a solution to end this common problem that we have globally. Black people have globally. We all want to figure out a way, but we don't see no real sustainable, tangible progression. Well, by the time you in your 50s, like your father in 60s and 70s, you tired of fighting. You get what I'm saying? There's two generations that get lost. When you don't start this fight from the beginning, then there's no foundation. You understand what I'm saying? And like I said, it's few and far in between that want to fight collectively because one, we obviously can't get on the same page. Things change so rapidly. So one group might be right over here on how to end certain things, but this group right here, might be far gone from it. If you understand what I mean on it, it's just black people just constantly just miss, just constantly missing. It sucks, but that's just my theory on that. If he coned out or whatever, the man was probably just tired. Like, not to mention we get tired of each other too.
No, he just got dealt. He got dealt bad hand. The brother got dealt a bad hand, and he had a lot of things that were against him. His health,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, COVID-19 played
Uh-huh.
early demise, and probably white supremacy and um, from the medical apartheid that we experienced were some of the contributing factors of that black man's death. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Right.
me and
Black
him didn't
people.
see. Yeah, me and him didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things, um, especially towards reparations and the repair of our people towards the end of our demise. Like we had I was introduced to reparations by my family. All right,
Mm-hmm.
they were very very on code in a white environment, and white people did not like that, and they destroyed his family. They
Mm-hmm.
flattened his existence. Some of the reasons why I left Connecticut because it became more racially hostile because it got gentrified over the years and black
What?
people
How old were
started.
you when you realized that?
I was in my 20s.
You the
So
second black person. I swear to God, I was I was in Florida. I was there recently, but last year, and I had met a black person from Connecticut. You literally the second black person I met from Connecticut in the in the span of a year.
a lot of us we're dropping like flies out of Connecticut. I told my family I had enough. It was like it's like little Puerto Rico out there. It's like little
Y'all even
Dominican
sound like
Republic.
y'all even got a little. That's why I thought he had an accent, cause y'all even got like. Yeah, I'm not saying you got an accent, but y'all even got like a little. Y'all sound alike, and I thought his shit was weird the way he was talking. I'm like,
Nah, we're just some proper speaking Negroes.
it
Don't get.
wasn't. It was proper, but it wasn't even like the proper stereotype. It was just certain. I can't put my finger on it. It was. I know
We
what
have
you
a New
think I
England
mean, but it's not. It wasn't that.
we have a New England accent, man. It's okay. It's
Yeah, yeah.
understandable. Yeah. So one some of the things I've experienced in Connecticut was that due to the fact it's a sanctuary city, they allow just anybody and everybody into Connecticut, and it's gotten to the point that their politics are black and brown. It's just a lot of things. I've just got tired of it. Their
Hmm.
Juneteenth day, they don't even have the right correct flags. I'm getting tired of arguing with people who I've known for over 10, 20 years. They know damn well I'm right, and they just don't give a fuck, right?
Hmm.
I go to Delaware, and it's like a complete, like, yeah, they might be some coons, but they know enough not to play with the
I
Juneteenth day
didn't know it
flag.
was black people in fucking Delaware.
Hmm?
I didn't know it was black people in Delaware.
Brother, we're almost damn near 40% in Delaware. We are damn near the majority in that state. On the low low. That was the reason why I moved. I'm a big fan of the back to south strategy, and I moved from Connecticut to Delaware, man. Like I wanted to
How's the
change.
black businesses out there?
They got some black businesses out there. I'm about to get mine registered up there. The nonprofit that I have, the Negro Black Knights Heritage Club. So that's kind of some of my intentions and some of the things that I am working on.
Okay, but
So
like,
that's where that. Mhm.
are there black businesses to where they kind of operate on a day to day essentials for Black Americans?
I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to see what's going on. I've only been here since June 19th.
Mhm.
So I'm just laying out the land. I've been to one black nightclub. They had a lot of black shorties up in there, thick and lovely. Um, I've seen a
I'm
lot of
shocked.
I see a lot of tethers like that are there, and they're normally hiding in the. See, I got my hair braided too. I got braids.
uh,
So it's very difficult to find a black American shorty braider. And I'm getting very annoyed because a lot of these tether women act like black American women, and they don't have the soft and tenderness touch when they engage with my hair. They
are
don't
they
have.
African or Caribbean?
I don't give a f what they are. They're just not black women. And I don't
Right,
even
right.
want to. I don't want to. And they just go and they just lie. And what I mean lie is that they know that I'm looking for a black American shorty to give my money to. These women will lie to act as if they're a black American shorty to get that money. That's
If you
dirty
pay
Mac.
attention, it's not hard to really catch these people. You on the same page. I don't believe I know you, but I see you get it because a lot of people just don't. And it's funny too because that's one of the reasons why I came up with this space. There was another guy that was up here who drove me to make this space, and he came up here to listen. But I thought it was gonna be a little debate. But he, didn't say nothing, but he did give it the time to listen. So, hopefully he got a better understanding. But the reason why I came up with this space was because I was talking about the lack of black Americans in particular who um are not in the WWE. They have, let's say, 20 people, 20 black people, but most of them are from all other parts of the world besides American. And I can't have these people represent us. They are not us. They are not us. And,
You
just because
asking WWE to do an e-verify?
I had to do it my damn self because I mean, I had to do it my damn self because people don't understand that the meaning that they have to me because like you said with the video game, just I wanted this me. I can't identify with nothing in Africa, and I don't have nothing against them. I'm happy for their successes, but I would like some of our damn successes too. You know what I'm saying? And because especially in our company, I could see if we was in Nigeria, but we not in Nigeria. You get what I'm saying? Like we in America. I want to see black Americans represented properly and consistently. It should be nothing wrong with that. White folk they delineate too. A lot of Irish and Italian and Polish people and stuff, they come here and they assimilate the white. But if it ever came down to it, white folk wouldn't hesitate to let them know, like, y'all not us. If it came down to it, they use these people to our detriment. They make them police officers. The Italians, they made them sell drugs to us specifically. They had these Irish beating the shit out of us. Made them police officers probably in Delaware and New England and, that area and shit.